Hey, and there we are. So, what are you smiling about over there?
I'm still laughing at like what was said before we got on here.
Oh, oh, yep. So, well, unfortunately, missed the duty of that. So, it's back at action. So, welcome everybody tonight to another evening of paranormal chat on the Lost Limb Foundation Radio Network. Yeah, I got that all out that time. I think probably wasn't even reading from anything. So,
Yeah, and like since you've got through all that, we've talked about this for quite a while off and on. We've talked about maybe changing the name and stuff. So we've been kind of throwing around some ideas on looking at changing the name, maybe like something a little shorter.
yeah, like shorter.
Yeah, like shorter.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
so
you guys tuning in out there, if you can think of anything that we should just change this to, just let us know,
yeah,
and we'll take it under advisement,
yeah, we
or
will.
just change the damn thing, one or the other.
Yeah, whichever comes first, right?
So,
Yeah,
so what's new there at with you and Rhodes?
same old thing. I mean, it's been busy, and we've got the next public investigation on December 10th, but there's only 2 tickets left on that one. Um, Other than that, that's about it. Other than just the normal bookings and stuff that we're doing this year. I mean, that's pretty much the last public investigation and event, I guess you could say, for the year as we're winding down with 2022.
Yep, not going to be
So
much longer. So
yeah, yep.
since you weren't able to be on last week, how things go with your two event deal with the two
It went
locations?
well. It went well. It was a good time. Everything went smooth. It was a nice night. We went down, I went down. To Asher Walton House, and everybody met there. We kind of went over things and talked to the group a little bit, and then we just separated into 2 teams, and half the group followed me down here, and then we just kind of rotated out every few hours, and everybody seemed to have a good time with it. So it was nice. It was a good night.
Good. Maybe look at something like that in the future at some point. And,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
now, did
think
they have
so.
heat there?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, they do. Yeah, yeah. So it was. Yeah, it was a nice night overall. So I think, yeah, overall, I mean, for a first event like that, everything cruised right along through the whole night. Went well.
good. So
Yeah,
yeah, with having
yeah,
both locations with heat, that'll make it a lot easier to do something then too.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, yep. And you still got a few things going on the rest of this year, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the at Ashmore. We've got, let's see, yeah, we got the Tennessee Race Chasers coming up a week from this weekend, and there's still a few tickets left. It's getting kind of slim, but there's a few tickets left. They're doing a daytime investigation or a nighttime investigation, or you can do both. So it's $89 for the day, $89 for the night, or $149 for both. So that'll be a good time with Mike and Chris. They always do. They have a great time with people there. They're very personable. So you want to come out and check that out and join them, because this will be the last time they're going to be here this year, and um, they might do something in next November next year, but that might be the only chance they have, because we've already booked every Saturday between April and the end of October. I mean, we still have March and November. If somebody wants to book those, but our
Yeah,
prime months, obviously, since there's no heat, are April to the end of October.
yeah, yeah. That'll be a good. That'll be a nice event and stuff. So people should definitely get tickets to that. And one more little thing that's kind of popped up recently. Ashmore may or may not be on TV here pretty soon, right? Hmm.
Oh, yeah, my 10 seconds, like, of fame or something. But yeah, Destination Fear is coming to Ashmore States. They're December 30th on Travel Channel Discovery Plus. They're going to do they came out to Ashmore and did an episode out there, and I get all these people all the time asking me, so what did they find, and what I'm like, I have no idea. I honestly don't. In fact, I walked out that morning about 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and they were just coming out of the building, and so I went over and talked to them a little bit, and I say, hey, I don't want to know anything that happened, but did you guys have a good night? And Dakota just said, you're going to like this episode. Like, okay, that's cool. That's all I want to know. And now Chelsea did share a couple things with me. She thought, and I'll say it because it was kind of funny because earlier in the evening when they were getting ready, there was a possum out wandering around the building outside. And so we shut the doors and everything to keep the possum out, and there was no way he could get in. And she told me she was in one particular area of the building, and she said she heard something hissing at her. She's like, oh, that dang possum got in the building. And I'm like, no, we kept that out of the building. It didn't get in. And she's like, I'm kind of freaked out because I thought that was a possum hissing at me. And now I find out that it wasn't even in the building. So I don't know what it was that was growling and hissing at me in there. So, and so that'd be kind of fun. And, yeah, we thought Abby said about doing a premiere party or a watch party. I thought about doing something like that, but since we don't have any heat out there, it makes it kind of tough. But I have talked to the location down the street from us there, and there's a private resort that's just opened up, and they actually had a bunch of Halloween stuff going on, and they've got they're talking about putting a bar and a restaurant and everything down there, and I thought they're like 5 minutes at the very most away. I mean you know where the racetrack is there. They're right behind the racetrack. So
okay.
So yeah, they're very, very close.
Yeah.
And, so I may talk to them about possibly doing something or kind of check out the weather and see what the weather looks like and do something. But we'll have to see what's going on. We may have to try to do something like that. And but it's not till December 30th they're on. They start their new season November 25th, so it's coming up on Black Friday, and they'll be starting their new season. And so I know that they don't know if they're going to have a season 5 yet, so this may be every season is the last season in this game, and what's going on. So kind of cool because Ashmore is the smallest location they've gone to, and they told me that they started. That was the first location they went to. If you watch I think it's I get the name wrong, Trail of Terror or something like that.
Oh yeah,
that they have out there on Discovery Plus. If you watch that episode, Ashmore was the first place that they came to before they actually had a TV show. And so Dakota told me, he's like, Alex wanted to come back. He said he's never been there before, so he wanted to come just in case it's the last episode they have. It's like they want to make sure they came back to Ashmore anyway. So that was the last one they filmed at, but it won't be the last one on their series. It's the third to the last they have in their series, or next to the last on the series. But yeah, so it'll be a good time. Those guys they're as you know, they're a lot of fun, and they're just easy to get along with and easy to talk to, and
they're
very
blast.
personable.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're a blast to hang out with for sure.
And so, but yeah, if you looking at booking locations, just there's information on Rhodes right there. You can check that out and book some stuff there at Rhodes and
hit Crystal up.
Yep, hit Crystal up, get a date, find out maybe not date with Crystal because that was just a bad idea. Trust me, bad idea. So and but yeah, just call Crystal and get a date to come to Rhodes Hotel. So and or you can check us out there at Ashmore. We can hook you up with some times there and all too. So do something like that. So looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And if you have not done it yet, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I haven't looked lately how many people we have now, but
I haven't either.
I think I actually have it up here. Let's see.
We were in the 50s.
Woo! We're rocking. We can start. Maybe we can tell. Greg and Kathy when we get them on tonight that maybe that if they let us come to investigate OSR free, we'll put them on our YouTube channel because
those 50 people.
Say, we'll put you on our YouTube channel. You guys will be famous. So
and got a whole 50 some people. Yeah,
57. Almost
57.
Yeah, we could crack 100 by the end of next year. So
we might. Yeah,
it's just rolling. So
2025 we might have 150.
Oh my gosh, that would be. We'd probably get started getting paid then too.
Money.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, the money would be rolling in. So,
Yeah, I shouldn't
but
have done that because that screwed with my voice. Yeah, because as the people know, wasn't here last week because I was sick.
yeah, he's got a kind of little bronchitis issue or something going on there. So,
Yes, a little bit. Not that I've
yeah,
ever had that before.
yeah, exactly. Well, let's get Greg and Kathy in here and talk about Ohio State Reformatory and all. Yeah,
Yeah.
pop them in here. I'll bring Kathy in first. There we go. Now I'll bring Greg in.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Not too
Hey,
bad. How
what's
you guys
up?
doing? Wait a minute, Greg's here. Let's unmute Greg's mic.
Hey,
Oh,
can you hear me?
Mhm.
yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, it said you
Yeah.
were unmuted or you were muted. So,
Well, it's funny because I'm right across the desk
Yeah,
from her.
yeah, for sure.
So I have my volume turned off on my computer, and I can hear you guys through her computer.
oh, okay. I was wondering, like, okay, she's got it muted. He's got it muted, but so okay, that's fine. Hey, whatever it works, we're easy. So,
Yeah. You know, we could have went the whole. If you hadn't said anything, I would have never figured out that you two were like right there.
Right in the same room.
you could have just like dropped down and then crawled to the other chair and popped up. Like, oh my God, these guys are incredible.
Where you go?
Good. So, how are things going in your neck of the woods?
Busy. Yep.
Busy, yep. And odd weather, 80s or 70s, you know, 1 week and the next week it's down in the 50s.
Yeah, I think we're past the 50s after this weekend, pretty much around here.
I think we are too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think
it's
I
gonna-
looked at Ashmore's weather, and it's supposed to be in like the 20s this weekend.
Ooh.
That's not
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be cool.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, now Ohio State Reformatory, you guys have all kinds of heat up there, right?
good. Oh yeah, yeah. Lot of heat there in the summer.
Yeah.
Summer there's a lot of heat. Winter, not so much.
Yeah, we always tell people to dress warm in layers.
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I've been there once myself, and I always kind of wonder when the place was up and functional, that the way that's built and all that had to be horrid as far as being on the lower level in the middle of the winter.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was really hard to heat in the winter and cool off in the summer. You didn't want to be up in the 5th and 6th levels in the summer.
No, I wouldn't think
Oh,
so. That'd be a little bit hot.
Well, why don't you tell the story about the inmates and what they would do sometimes in the summer, Greg?
Oh yeah, in the summer it would get so hot in there that they would break the windows, to let some cool air in there. Well, the state wasn't going to repair those windows, so in the winter you used to get freezing cold in there, and the toilets used to freeze.
Oh man.
Oh no.
So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even now, I mean, well, we don't try to heat the cell blocks. It'd be impossible. And that's
Right.
why in the winter, it's usually about at least 10 degrees colder in the winter in the cell blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And in the summer, it feels like it's about 10 degrees hotter.
Yeah, and of course we have the administration part of the building too, so it's a little bit warmer. So if you are out doing a ghost hunt, you do have a little bit of warmth. But when you're investigating those cells, dress warm.
Mm. I can't remember the time of year it was when we were there. I don't think it was too bad because, like, I was there the time that Nick Groff did Nick Groff tour,
Mhm.
and what it was Katrina was with him, I believe, and it wasn't too bad weather-wise. I think at that time, so yeah, we didn't get the like freezing cold or the like blazing heat.
Yeah,
Mhm.
lucky. You're very lucky.
Well, since we kind of jumped in and started talking about OSR a little bit, but why don't you guys just because some people may not know you guys at all, so give us a little history about from the two of you and what you do and involved with the paranormal and everything.
Well, I'm Kathy Feketik. I'm the other half. Greg's my other half. I don't know how much you want to know, but we've been investigating together for about 20 years. Greg has been investigating much longer than me. And as far as the Ohio State Reformatory, we started investigating there in 2004. And after investigating, we both had a love for the building, so we decided to volunteer at OSR in 2013. So we've been in, volunteering since 2013, and Greg started as the lead paranormal investigator, and then I became the paranormal program manager this year. I actually retired from my full-time job, and the position happened to open up right at the time I was retiring, and I couldn't pass it up. And I've been there doing that role, or in that role, since November 1st.
That probably keeps you busy.
Brand new.
Uh-oh.
And guess what?
What's that?
Greg, would you like to add this?
Well, she thinks she's my boss there.
Yeah.
She is. She is.
Mhm.
But a little bit about me. I did my first investigation in 1991, so I've been doing this a long time. But like Kathy said, started investigating the reformatory in 2004. We fell in love with the building, and I said, when I retire, I want to work there. I retired in 2011 after spending 29 years as a police officer. 2013, we became volunteers there. 2017, they asked me to be the lead paranormal investigator there. I'm like, sure. I mean, of course I will. 2019, Kathy and I formed a team called Tri-C Ghost Hunters. One of the largest teams in Ohio. We've got about 43 members now. Call ourselves Tri-C because we have teams in Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati areas of Ohio. And 2019, we became the resident paranormal team at the Reformatory. Right now, we have about 20 members of our team who volunteer there. And also to see what else. I've written a couple books, and we also organize an event at the Ohio State Reformatory called the Parapsychon. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. So you guys keep pretty much your lives are all wrapped around there right now. So.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, it was interesting listening to Greg talk when he said that he retired and he wanted to work at OSR. It's funny that when he retired, he ended up working at OSR, and I retire, and what happens? A job opens up, and I'm working there.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting, it's like people, and you guys, like all of you guys, Robin, I mean, even you guys can, like, people come in here all the time and they're just like, doesn't it get boring? Don't you get tired of it? It's like, no, because you don't know what to expect from one minute to the next at these places.
That's
Right.
true.
That's true. I mean, it's
Kind
such.
of like what Ashley was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just like the Rhodes Hotel. I mean, that is a cool location. Never had the opportunity yet to investigate Ashmore, but maybe
You guys have to get down sometime.
yeah,
Mhm.
we'll have to do that.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do that.
Oh, and I forgot to also mention too, besides the Ohio State Reformatory, we have two other locations that we manage for private
Okay.
homes. One is called the Wandle House Museum, just outside of Canton, and another place is called the Historic Grafton School, which is in Grafton, Ohio, just south of Lorain, Ohio. So we keep busy with those too.
Mm-hmm.
Guys
Are
all
those
over
pretty
the
close
place.
to OSR?
No, no, we live about an hour and 10 minutes away from OSR, and the locations. How far away are they?
What location? Oh,
Wandle and
the
Grafton.
school is only about 10 minutes from our house, which is
nice.
great. But the other place is probably about an hour and a half away. Luckily, we just manage it and book all the hunts and promote it, market it. They actually have somebody who works all the private hunts there.
Yeah, I'm sure just the OSR alone is a handful, I'm sure. I mean, and then handling a few other locations, and
Right.
then you guys do like your own private investigations, like residential and stuff like that as well, on top of all this, or
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot of private homes and businesses too, on top of everything else. Plus, we do a lot of speaking engagements. Luckily, those are over right now. October, we get a lot of them. But no, we keep busy with everything. That's why we have so many members on the team. Because in fact, our Columbus team just got a new location too. So on top of those other locations, what's the name of it? I always forget. The historic Delaware County Courthouse.
Yeah.
That they have too. So.
Well, and we have a lot of team members, and not all of them are OSR volunteers. And a lot of them don't participate in some of the other places that we manage. That way we have quite a few people that are available to go to the private homes or the private businesses that reach out to us for help. Because one of the reasons why, the reason why we formed Tri-C Ghost Hunters was to help people feel comfortable in their homes or businesses again. So that's our, as far as Tri-C Ghost Hunters, that's our main goal with what we do. So we have people that, that's what they mainly do instead of volunteering at some of the other locations.
You guys, Ohio State Reformatory, is that book pretty much year round?
Well, I mean, right now it's been my off season. I do anywhere between, and when I say I'm the lead paranormal investigator, that means I am a paranormal tour guide there too. But I pretty much am there and run all the private ghost hunts. And usually I have between 55 and 60 a year. And most of those are from like March through the end of August. Like right now, September, October, and the first 2 weeks of November, it's all set up and takedown and the actual haunted house that OSR does. So I don't have to worry about any private hunts there. But my first private hunt is this Sunday night. So the season is starting back up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, there's different components to the paranormal program. Greg's, as he said, is the private. We also have what's called ghost walks, which are 2-hour walking tours where we have tour guide and pushers that take groups out, tell them a little bit of history of the location, but more about the hot spots, the haunted locations in the building. And those take place on Friday nights usually. And then we also have our public ghost hunts, which are basically the same as what Greg does, except for there's a lot of people on the public ghost hunts. We can book up to 105 people for the one night on a public ghost hunt. And the interesting thing too is, a lot of people, they like doing that because they're not real familiar with ghost hunting. So they just want to be around people. They just want to see the building. They want to, they're not like us where we want it quiet and, we want it by ourselves. Both the public and the private ghost hunts basically cost the same thing.
Well, per person. If you have a certain amount of
right,
people.
Per person. Because if you have, for the public, you're paying $99. You're getting pizza, you're getting soda, you're getting water, you're getting coffee. And you get location in the building that you can't get into throughout the day. For Greg, basically paying the same thing if you have 15 people.
Well, 15 people Sunday through Thursday night.
Correct.
If you can get a Friday or Saturday night there, if you get 30 people, it's the same price per person.
Correct. And it's a little bit more difficult to get the Friday or Saturday night, so the majority of them are booked throughout the week. But all 3 of those programs are very, very interesting. The Ghost Walks, I've been working those as a staff member now for about 2 years, maybe even 3. So I guess you can say I got promoted into this position too. And I'm hoping with Greg's help, because we're a great team when we do get together and work on things. I'm hoping with Greg's help that we can expand the program even more. We have some ideas, and we got to just put the plan in place and see how it goes. So,
give us a little history of the prison itself.
Okay. Now, if you know what the prison looks like, there's the front of the building, which looks like a castle. That is the administration portion that was completed in 1896, along with the west cell block. The east cell block was completed about 1910. Now, at the time, it was originally built as an intermediate prison for young, first-time, nonviolent male offenders. So you could have males about 16 to 30 there. As the years progressed, it slowly turned into a maximum security prison. And by the late 60s, early 70s, around there, it was a full-blown maximum security prison. Eventually, conditions got so bad there that the inmates filed a lawsuit with the state of Ohio. The cells were only about 5.5 feet wide by 8 feet deep, and they would have 2 and sometimes 3 inmates in a cell, and they would be in there for the better part of 20, 23 hours. They filed a lawsuit claiming that being incarcerated there was cruel and inhuman punishment. State agreed, built them new prisons, and the last inmates left there December 31st, 1990. And then Shawshank Redemption came in, pretty much saved the building. And then Citizens of Mansfield, it was about 94, 95, they basically purchased the building from the state of Ohio, and they've made it into what it is today.
Now,
Wow.
when they closed that prison, they opened the new one. Isn't it like right behind it?
There are actually 2 prisons. There's one right behind it. That is a medium security prison. The maximum security prison is just a little northwest from there, and you can actually see it from some of the higher points in the prison. And I found out this past summer, because on one of my private hunts, I had a former guard from the reformatory who was a guard over at the maximum security prison, and he did tell me that there are inmates over there that were at the reformatory when it was open. So,
Wow.
kind of crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. When like with your bookings and stuff, do you guys start like for 2023? Are you already booking into 2023, or do you start at the beginning of the year? Like I know some places are usually wait till the beginning of the year till they start booking.
Yeah, we've already begun booking. We have quite a few set. As far as the private ghost hunts and everything, they basically reach out to me, and I let them know what dates are available according to what their request is as far as months. Public ghost hunts, those are actually booked online through the website, and those I don't believe those are up and running yet. They will be shortly though.
Now, I got to ask you a question, because when I came out there, it's probably been 6 years ago or something like that. They gave us some history of the place, took us around, and I guess, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was the warden or somebody like that at the prison. He was shot and killed in a room upstairs or in his room or something with a gun that supposedly fell off and went off and shot and killed him. Is that right?
Go ahead.
It was actually his wife, and
Okay.
the gunshot did not kill her. Okay, she was actually reaching up in her closet and reaching for a hat box, and the hat box or box, whatever it was, had his revolver on it. And when she brought the box down, the revolver fell, discharged, shot her in the lungs. She was taken to the local hospital, and she died a few days later from complications with pneumonia.
Right. Greg, then I got to ask you, as a former police officer, how many times have you seen a revolver that fell off and went off accidentally? So
I've never seen that. And there again, I'm not sure if it was a revolver or what type of gun it was. It could have been a semi-automatic.
Wasn't there some rumors or something that she was having an affair with an inmate or something like that there?
You know what? There's always rumors,
Yeah.
but we can. I mean, we can squash those rumors. I mean, her children were
Right.
across the hall because it happened up in their living quarters and it happened in her bedroom, and her two boys were across the hall in their bedroom. And when they heard the shot, they came running over there.
Okay.
So no, there's a lot of rampant rumors, but it was an accident.
Yeah, I don't remember them telling us about the kids coming across the hall, which is probably it makes a better story with you if you don't know the kids came across the hall. So it makes people like me wonder, it's like, how do you shoot yourself? How'd that revolver go off accidentally?
But
I said revolver, and I probably should have just said something.
Oh, that's right. They told us revolver when I came through it. That's what triggered the question in my mind, was that they said it was a revolver.
Well, obviously, it's a lot more exciting. She was involved in this love triangle and stuff like that. That's more exciting than just the handgun fell discharged and struck her.
Sure. But all of the proof leads to that.
There's been no evidence of anything like.
Well, that's cool.
That.
I got a question. So I'm sure you've had your moments. You've, like both of you, walked around by yourself in there. Give us a good story. Like I want to hear, like, I love asking people like some of the crazy experiences they've had at some of these locations.
Oh, where do we begin? We've had so many experiences there. Greg, I'm going to.
First. You tell yours.
Well, I don't know which one to tell. There's so many of them.
Just tell a good one.
Well, my favorite place is the attic. I like the attic because of all the activity that goes on there. And there's all kinds of different things. Like I actually see balls of light with your naked eye. And sometimes it actually looks as if somebody is walking in the room with a flashlight. And when you turn on your light to see who's there, because they're not answering you, there isn't anybody there. So there's that type of activity, plus the fact that you can hear people walking around you at times. And sometimes people get things thrown at them. The Mansfield Police Department, some of the guys were up there here not too long ago, and there was actually stones that
in
were
uniform.
While they were in uniform, and they were actually having things thrown at them while they were up there. So there's so much that goes on there. There's so many stories I could tell, but I like Greg's story, the one of your first apparition, our first shadow figure.
I mean, you know what? I'm there all the time. Sometimes I have 4 or 5 private hunts a week, and I've had some pretty crazy things happen. Like I said, I've been investigating since '91. And never seen a shadow person or an apparition until the Ohio State Reformatory. And the first one I saw was in 2018. It was January. Every January, we would have training for new members of our team who are volunteers there. And I was up in the area in admin, 3rd floor east. And I'm sitting on the stage up there, and I looking at this door coming up, there's stairs that come up from the 2nd floor, and here comes this shadow figure. It's walking up the steps, enters the room, takes a right, and walks down the hallway. Well, being a retired police officer, I'm always skeptical about everything. So everything's got a logical explanation. So I'm like, what the hell was that? Real, it's like it had been in my imagination. And shortly after that, I heard growling coming from the center of the room. That wasn't good. And then right after that, I heard church bells. And we've captured other stuff up in that 3rd floor admin. And it's like sometimes I find the administration portion more active and a little bit more spookier than the actual prison itself. And a lot of people hear growling up in that 3rd floor. You just heard growling there.
Well, I've heard growling, and also in the same area where he's talking about where he saw the shadow figure. There was one time that I was sitting on the stage area that's up there and looking towards the same door where the shadow figure came up, and it was like a tumbleweed. It looked like a tumbleweed that was a shadow that come rolling towards me, but just as it got to me, it disappeared. And that actually happens quite a bit there to other people. And people have it's actually touched them before, and they said it's like putting your finger in a light socket.
Yeah, I've only seen like 3 apparitions, shadow figures, and they've all been at OSR. The last one I saw was this past spring, and it was before a private investigation, and I'm given a tour, and we're in solitary confinement. And we're going past the confinement cells, and I've been past these cells hundreds of times. But this time, as I'm walking through, I swear there was somebody in the cell to the left of me. So I kind of like stopped and, did a little bit of jump back a little. It's like, whoa, did I just see that? If it wasn't for the woman behind me, I would just blew it off. But she started crying because she saw it. So you get stuff like that. But
yeah, there's a lot of doppelgangers there too. I've never experienced those, but I do know people that have. And what Greg's talking about the apparitions, I do have a story. It didn't actually happen to me, but it happened to the group that I was leading on a ghost walk tour.
that wasn't a doppelganger.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm talking
Okay.
about the apparitions.
Yeah.
Now, I never experienced the doppelganger, but regarding the apparitions, I was actually coming down East Cell Block, and I was going to the 4th tier, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I was going down to the 4th tier, and I told everybody to stay in line. You have to go single file going down the steps, and I had a pusher in the back. Well, 3 of the people followed me, and one was a young boy, because you can be 13 and older for the ghost walks, and he was terrified of heights. So I was yelling back to the pusher, "Hey, Greg, it was a different Greg. Hey, Greg, I have to go to the other end. I have somebody that's afraid of heights." Well, Greg, is yelling at the group that didn't follow, "You're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way." And they're all going, "No, we're following the guy in front of us." Now, this is during COVID time. Everybody's masked up and everything, right? So they come around. Greg, the other Greg comes up and he goes, "What are you doing?" And the lady in the front has a locked gate that's locked by a bolt, a lock. And she's holding it. She goes, "How did he get through there?" She said that there was a guy that walked through that gate. She couldn't figure out how he got through it. The other people that were behind her saw him too, and they all described him as a elderly man with white messy hair and a black shirt and no mask. And everybody was required to be masked up then. So I thought that was really cool. They followed an apparition down the wrong stairway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multiple people even. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was, they were all from different families, so it's not like you got a group of friends that get together. Hey, let's mess
Right.
with them.
Yeah, they were from different families. The other story I like is the one, Greg, where you were locking up the one night and you had your keys in your hands.
Yeah, I've been touched numerous times there. This time they just yanked my keys away from me. So, you get little things like that, just little minor stuff. It's almost like they're saying, "Hey, we're here. Don't forget about us."
Yeah, they like Greg though. They do. I get the impression they respect him because he respects them. So I think that's
I have
cool.
to respect them too, because sometimes I am in the building by myself, locking up. And when you're in that 250,000 square foot building, it can get a little nervous. I'm not afraid to say that. Yeah, my mind's running when I'm walking around. I'm the only one in there, so I like to treat them respect, and I do talk with them. I'm like, "Hey guys, good evening or good night."
Now, was it all men in that prison, or was it women also?
Just all men, no women, no women prisoners.
No women prisoners. However, they are bringing artifacts in from the women's prison, so that may change some of the activity a little bit because of the artifacts. I mean, you never know what they may bring over.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's an interesting place. A lot of things that have happened in the area that Greg was talking about, where he saw the shadow person, where I saw the tumbleweed and everything. We were walking away from that area, and I heard a woman talking behind us, and there shouldn't have been anybody there. So I turned around and I went back to check and see who was there, but I stopped at a window and kind of listened. And as I was listening with this here, somebody said, and it wasn't even a whisper, said, "What did you hear?" And I thought it was another volunteer. So I turned and there wasn't anybody there. So I just said, "Oh, I thought I heard a woman talking over there," because she asked.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of really interesting things.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny too, because sometimes you think of a prison, these are bad people, they're going to be nasty and mean, and yeah, some of them are, but we get a lot of helpful ones and friendly ones too. So I mean, they'll answer your questions, they'll help you out, or they'll introduce themselves to you. It's I'm not a big fan of spirit boxes or anything like that, because I think they're so subjective, unless you do like the Estes method. And we were doing an Estes method last September during the world's largest ghost hunt. And to make a long story short, we had one investigator in one of the cells, and I was videotaping, but I was several cells away, and it was live. And some crazy things or responses and questions were asked of me. So I'm like, okay, I'll play. So I basically said, hey, my name's Greg. I'm the lead paranormal investigator. I care about you guys. Who am I speaking with? And without missing a beat, the investigator with the headphones on, she goes, "I'm Jimmy. Hi." I mean, immediately. And then I'm like, okay. So now I'm starting to call her name. I'm like, you're messing with me. I'm calling her name, and she's not responding at all. And so that was kind of crazy. So that it will do stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it didn't even end there. There were several things. It was like he was having a conversation with Greg after that. I'm Jimmy. Hi. And then Greg was like, "Where were you? Was that you touching me earlier? Where?" There were just all kinds of responses. It was one of the best sessions I've ever seen or heard.
Yeah. So still not too sure about it. Things, so it's got to have logical explanation. So, but can't figure out one for that unless she was messing with me.
Well, and the interesting thing is, Greg is a skeptical believer. So when things happen to him, it like amazes us that that he's actually can't explain a reason for it. And when she was coming out of the cell, she's like, "How did everything go?" And we were like, "Oh my God, Crystal, it was amazing. You're not going to believe it." And she goes, "Really?" And we go, "Yeah, it was all with Greg." And she stopped and went, "What? Greg?" And her reaction, I was like, she wasn't messing with him. No way.
It's a fun place to work. We have stories almost every time we go there. It's my second home, and I'm happy to say that that's where I work.
And there's so much more than just the paranormal there too. I mean, you have the history tour. During the day, you have all those day tours and everything. The place is amazing during the day. I mean, the architecture of the building is just amazing. And it does take a completely different feel when you go there at night for the paranormal. But they have all kinds of different events here. They have the incarceration. Give me a couple more. Well, the other one's Parapsychon, that's our event. And
Mike will be there.
Yeah. It'll be good to have you there. Yeah.
It's in May, right? Yeah.
It's in May.
It's always the third weekend in May.
So, but yeah, they've kind of gone away from some other events, but I think they are planning to do some more things this year. They have like a Shawshank week, redemption weekend, and 5K runs, and they always have stuff going on there. An old-time baseball game. I know they used to have Civil War encampments in the past, and so it's just a fun, cool place, especially if you like history, or if you like movies, or if you like the paranormal.
Right.
We have all three of them.
Yeah, and I always suggest that if anybody's coming out to watch Shawshank, because it was filmed there. That way you see everything, and then when you're there, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. It's kind of cool to place that all together.
Yeah, I was excuse me, I was going to actually bring that up too and just ask if I know there's still some, you have some of the props and some things out there, but is there still quite a bit of stuff in the building from Shawshank?
Oh, we actually have a Shawshank museum now. So yeah, in fact, there are 3 museums inside the Reformatory Museum. So we have the Ohio Penal Museum, where artifacts from different prisons throughout Ohio are there, and then we have the Shawshank Museum, has artifacts and stuff from the movie. And we do have like the tunnel that Tim Robbins crawled through, and the tunnel that they used as the hole in the cell. And there's some other stuff in that museum. And then we have an Ohio Industrial Museum. So it's got like a whole, old machines and old like stoves and refrigerators from the 40s and 50s. So it's not strictly the prison now.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on it earlier, but because of that movie, that's what pretty much saved the prison because they were going to tear it down, weren't they?
Yep. Yep. They already started. They tore down the support buildings in the back. So those were already torn down right after the movie when they were done filming. But you know what? As they still have the main portion of the prison there. So that's a blessing that they were able to save that.
It is, because it is an amazing building.
And,
it really is.
And they're restoring a lot of it too, like the administration portion. They've got the whole first floor restored, and they're just finishing up on the second, and now they're going to be working up on the third floor. Just in the administration section. I doubt if they do anything in the actual prison area. So that's where a lot of the monies go from the daytime tours, from the investigations, from all the different events is going for the maintenance and restoration of the building.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I should ask my question. So everybody that's on here, we talk to, I always ask the question of, if you could go to one location, any location in the world, where would you pick?
Dracula's castle.
I've heard that one a few times.
Yeah.
There are so many places that would be. I mean, and we have actually been to Scotland, investigating over in Scotland. So I mean, it's much different being over there than over here. And there's one island. I think it's off the coast of Italy. It starts like Pvoleg, Pelagia, or something like that.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there. This may sound more morbid, but I've always been interested in World War II and Auschwitz, concentration camp area, just because of all the suffering and all the turmoil that they all went through. But Dracula's castle would be my favorite place, just because I think it would be cool to go there.
It would be awesome.
Well, now, what are your favorites?
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
For me, I would like to go to the catacombs.
Yeah, that's supposed to be
in Egypt.
Egypt, yeah.
Yeah. Robin?
No, actually, I said it before. Mine's about 20 minutes away from me, and I'd like to be turned loose in Lincoln's home for the night.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How do you pick just one?
Yeah.
There's so many of them. I mean, we had the opportunity to investigate the Edinburgh vaults, and that's one of the most haunted locations in the world. We didn't get to investigate, but we were at Stirling Castle, and that's supposed to be extremely haunted. But I think our favorite place investigating over there would have been a place called Covenanters Prison in the Black Mausoleum.
Mhm.
It's in Edinburgh, Scotland, in a place called Greyfriars Kirkyard. Um, and this kirkyard is a graveyard, and it's the scene of the first documented case of poltergeist activity. And the spirit was called the Mackenzie poltergeist. So that was really, really cool. Investigating that location. That was like
really
a dream
cool.
come true. Oh, and also cruising on Loch Ness. So
Yeah, that was fun.
that was a childhood dream of mine. It's like I want to go to Loch Ness and cruise on it. So we actually did.
That would be awesome.
We didn't find Nessie though. So
It's always cool to like hear what the first that initial response when you ask people that one location. It's always interesting just to hear that first one they throw out there, and like, oh,
Yeah.
I'd like to go here.
There's so many different places, and just I probably have about 20 of them.
What's that Island of the Dolls?
Oh yeah, it's in Mexico City.
That would be a cool one too.
Yeah, that would be
Dolls.
interesting.
Can we see it? Which way do I go? There we go.
It's hard to
I
see. We
don't know.
got a light up doll back there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's got a
Right
creepy
over my
face.
shoulder.
Yeah.
A place that we did a presentation at, they got me that as a gift. It's a creepy doll head lamp. Oh. So it's here in our office.
Now you said earlier that you wrote a couple books. Give us tell us a little bit about the books and plug your books before we get out of here.
Okay. I've written 2 books. The first one is called Insights into the Unknown, a Ghost Hunter's Journey. That was published in 2015. My second book is Roads into the Unknown, a Ghost Hunter's Journey Continues. That was published in 2018. Both of them can be found on Amazon. And these are my stories, our experiences. They're not other investigators or other people's recycled stories. So these are all my stories. And I remember years ago when we used to be on podcasts and radio shows, people used to ask us, have I written a book? And I always had to say no. Well, it got to the point where I had enough material to start writing books. So I've written 2. I've got another one that I want to start writing. I think I got 2 paragraphs started. It takes me a little while to get going, but once I get going, it finishes pretty quick. So, you know what? And I wrote them for me. I mean, it's just something that I wanted to do, and it's just It was enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Now I can't remember. Is Rhodes Hotel in?
Yes. Wait a minute. No, the Rhodes Hotel. I actually wrote a chapter on the Rhodes Hotel. And you know what? It may. You know what? It may be.
Yeah, because we had some great experiences at the Rhodes Hotel when we were out there. I let out a blood-curdling scream. I think that our one time that we were there.
It is in this book.
That's the latest one, right? The 2018 one, right?
The latest one, the Rhodes Hotel.
You sent me a couple copies of it.
I have it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had some great experiences there. Like I said, I let out a blood-curdling scream because of something that happened to me there. Scared the bejeebies out of everybody.
What happened?
That was up in the attic.
Well, wow. I mean, from our experiences, I think that the Rhodes Hotel was probably in my top 5 of most active locations.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were only there twice, and each time it was intense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You asked what had happened. Is it in your book?
I think so. Yeah.
It's been a while since I read it. It's been 3 years.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell
this
story?
I don't know if we'll have enough time.
Oh.
But it's just that she just.
We were up in the attic, and it was pitch dark. That's how we do it. And heard walking around, going around us, and we had five people up there with us. the walking stopped behind me. I could feel somebody breathing on me. I could feel cold on my arm. And then all of a sudden, a hand like came down and boom, right on my shoulder and squeezed. And I let out a blood curdling scream and, of course, blamed Greg right away. I'm like, did you do that? Because I thought for sure he was goofing off and he did it to me. But he was sitting down on a bucket. You know, he turned on his flashlight. He was sitting down on a bucket, not even close enough to me. But the interesting thing with that, too, is when I screamed after it had grabbed me, the guy that was standing by the stairs said he felt a breeze go by him and go down the stairs. So I scared it too.
Crap out of us. But yeah, we're gonna have to get to Ashmore Steaks too.
Yes,
So.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You need
Yeah, we've
to.
been pretty busy out there this year, and Ashley's going to keep pretty busy for next year, and Abby and Terry helps us out there too. So yeah, it should be. It's usually a lot of fun. We've had people back there numerous times this year. In fact, I have one girl that she calls me like sometimes 3 or 4 days in advance. Says, "Hey, I noticed on the calendar Thursday night's open. Can I come out?" Like, okay. So send her the invoice, and she comes out. I think she's been out 5 or 6 times this year. And she's usually by herself or with her brother.
Wow.
And so they just do the whole building by themselves. And
Mhm.
and she'll start at 7 or 8 o'clock at night and go all day, all night long until like 5 in the morning or something like that. For they stop and they kind of start backing stuff up. But
Wow. That's awesome.
I can't stay up that late. I'm too old.
No, I can't either.
I know. It's like,
So I like the daytime investigations. It fits me really well. So,
right.
do you guys do daytime there at the prison?
Not daytime investigations, no, because they're pretty much just open for the day tours, and they kind of don't want to mix the day tours with the paranormal, because a lot of people are coming there during the day. They don't have anything to do with the paranormal, so
Right.
so that they kind of keep it separate. But that doesn't mean that stuff doesn't happen during the day.
That's right.
Yeah.
So there's been experiences there during the day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Other than the Parapsychon you got coming up, then anything else going on next year that you guys are promoting out there?
Incarceration.
Just incarceration. I'm not sure when that is, and of course, Blood Prison, Halloween Haunted House. So that's always
That's a
big
must
hit.
go to haunted house. They have a no touching or touching pass. So if you don't mind the actors touching you while you're going through, you have to sign a waiver. Yeah, they can touch me, and it's pretty scary. And I do think that the spirits come out a little bit too and have some fun during that stuff.
There have been reports of the actors experiencing things, during the actual haunted house. So especially the actors who are down in solitary or in themselves by themselves.
I think that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ran a haunted house here at the theater that I live in for 10 years, and I remember I got one lady one time called and complained to me that I had a young girl working in our haunted house that had to be like 4 or 5 years old. There was no reason why I should have somebody that young working at. I'm like, we don't have anybody that young. It's like, no, I know. I saw her down there. She was sitting on a bed. There was a couple of teenagers. She was sitting behind them. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she saw the little girl we have as a spirit in the building. So I told her, I said, well, I'm going to have to talk to the people about it, make sure they don't bring their kids anymher. And I said, I'll have to check it out. I'm like, I'm not going to tell her, like, oh, yeah, you saw a ghost, because that's what she's going to believe me real well with that. So, but yeah, it's like, hung up the phone, and I'm like, oh, she saw the ghost. She saw, as the girls had dubbed her Susie in their building here that was wandering around.
Wow.
So.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But,
it's been fun
Mike,
talking
you got anything else
tonight.
for him?
No, I was just gonna say it's been fun talking tonight.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys had us on, and
yes, thank you.
Looking forward to Parapsychon, and Mike, you being there.
And we'll have to make a trip out to Ashmore Estates. Definitely.
Yeah, stop out and see us sometime.
We will. We definitely will.
I know we'd have a
probably
lot of
just
team
make that
members
trip
too.
out.
Huh?
Yeah.
You guys could probably just make that little trip out, like swing by
Do
here on your
the
way
roads.
down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do the roads, and yeah, I'm sure we can get a bunch of team members.
Yeah, or really kind of, I don't know,
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know we could get a bunch of team members for that road trip.
Definitely.
So, yep, sounds good. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Guys.
Well, thanks a
All
lot
right.
for coming on. Have a good evening.
All right,
You too,
thank
and
you.
thank you again.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Have to go
See you
out
guys.
sometime.
Have a good
Good
night.
night.
All right.
Bye.
Night.
Night. That was
Okay.
fun.
Yep. Yeah, great having them on tonight and learning a little bit more about the OSR and what they're doing, and also, so
Yeah.
nice. And,
Yeah.
that, yep. So we're gonna be getting out of here, and let me see what I've got. I think I got it up here someplace. What did I do with it?
Yeah.
Next week we're gonna try it again.
Round 2.
Yeah, Ashley. It wasn't. We found out. You may not have caught it last week, but I told everybody it wasn't our fault. It was, I guess, StreamYard and Facebook were having a little bit of a battle or something. I'm not sure, but yep. So it was because I got an email from StreamYard that said that
I did
if
too.
you were on during these time frames, then you probably would have got kicked off or something. So it's like, yep, that's exactly what happened. So
Yeah, I saw that. I got that email too. So I think maybe I'm added on to StreamYard and all that stuff. Yeah, they sent the email to me.
So
I didn't do it.
going off. So
I didn't do it.
no, it's a page is going off for local. I'm on fire rescue. So
Yeah.
we're getting page out someplace. I'm not sure where, but yep, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So okay, well, we're gonna get out of here, and
Yep.
we will catch everybody next week with Ashley Storm. Will be on talk about Broken Bow Asylum.
Yep.
And what's going on with that? So,
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay.
I will see you later then.
Yep. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, guys. My name is Mike, and I'm the founder of the Lost Limbs Foundation. The Lost Limbs Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that provides assistance to amputee children in need of prosthetics. I started the charity after my own struggles after my leg being amputated just above the knee. Prosthetics cost thousands of dollars, and the average lifespan is 5 to 7 years on a prosthetic. Kids are constantly growing, so they'll go through multiple prosthetics throughout their life. This is the prosthetic leg that I use, and the cost was about $70,000. The Rhodes Hotel is in Atlanta, Indiana, and is owned and operated by the Lost Limbs Foundation. We are currently doing photo shoots, ghost hunts, and special events to help raise money for the charity. For more information, you can go to lostlimbsfoundation.org. With your help, we can help these kids one step at a time.